So from people to progress, let's now explore how technology is transforming Namibia. Mrs. Vanessa Maresch will share her vision for a future where tech uplifts industries and communities. Let's welcome Mrs. Vanessa.
Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Before I start, I just wanted to say to Lisa, yay, sister from another mother. All right, so let me just manage technology here. Here we go. Everybody can hear me? Yeah. All right, so I want to talk today probably about one of my favorite subjects. Some of you might have become a bit sick of me talking about this topic specifically, but it is around AI and how humans and machines can collaborate to make the best of tomorrow. So it is a privilege to address you today, and I'm going to share a vision where opportunity really meets innovation. A world where in the future people and technology will hold hands to achieve greatness. Lisa was talking about burnout and all the demands, and that, you know, some days we just don't feel well enough to function. And that is uniquely human traits. You know, the machines don't feel. That's one of the things. They don't have emotions, even though it might sound like they're very polite and all of those human aspects, but quite frankly, they can't feel. There's a lot of things that they can't do that we can do, and vice versa. And I think the magic happens when we find a middle ground for that, when we can take hands, recognize what we do really well, recognize what they do really well. And something always just rings in my head here. As I saw on social media, there was a post which said, I want AI to do the dishes and laundry so that I can do creative writing and arts, and not the other way around. So we are at a pivotal moment with regards to this technology, where we are shaping the future of where AI will go. I also always, when I try to explain to people how to work with AI, it is really like a child at this point in time. It's a 5-year-old, super smart child, but it is a child. We are in a position where we will be guiding. And as some mothers and nurturers by nature, we can relate that, you know, you need to nurture a child, a pet, a plant, whatever it is. If you're going to put a plant into the ground and you're never going to give it water, or the soil is bad, or you're going to allow the wind to batter it and not give it protection, yes, you're going to get a tree that's going to grow really skew and someday maybe fall on top of somebody's head. But it's like that with AI as well. We are now in a position where we are actually building the AI or guiding the AI of the future. So my presentation today really is about definitely not how technology and AI will replace human beings, but also the risk that if we do use it to do the creative arts and writing, then eventually we will be doing the laundry and the dishes. So it's important that we learn how to use AI correctly. And Hendrina mentioned that at the end of today we're going to have a draw. So that draw is 5 hours with yours truly, where hopefully I'm going to be able to show you or your organization or your business how to best use these tools ethically, responsibly, and securely, but also to support us in our human endeavors. So let's look at what we're going to be talking about today. So we're going to be exploring some of the synergy between humans and machines, looking at some of the strengths and weaknesses, the impact of collaboration, understanding bias in AI. This was so interesting for me, and I must just mention what framed my talk for today is 2 things, and I'm not going to say what happened to me recently, but which I chose to involve myself in. The one is I entered, thank you Salt, or I'm subscribed to a course at MIT, a no-code AI course. So it's been absolutely fascinating for me to learn how this machine works, how this animal's brain is working, and the similarities between that. And the other one is I'm busy with a book, I'm almost done. It's a book by Mo Godat. It's called Soul for Happiness. And he actually lost his son. I think the son was already out of school, but for a routine, it was a routine operation, and the boy died. And obviously that caused a lot of unhappiness. And it's not about not recognizing that things will make us unhappy, but what the book is about is how we influence how we perceive and how we receive the world. So those are the two things, and that's why I thought it was important that I bring bias in AI and humans, because that's one thing we have solidly in common. And again, it's not always our fault. It's not always the AI's fault that they are biased. It's all about what we input into the machine, what we, as human beings, what gets input, what we surround ourselves with, what our parents surround ourselves with. But it's very good to be aware of this so that we know how to navigate the future and how to use this tool. Oops, that was a quick there. All right, and then we're just going to touch on an industry example of the role of AI in healthcare and innovation, and then future innovations and the path ahead. So let's look at the potential of humans and machines. Humans and machines are uniting. It's a collaboration between humans and machines which create a powerful synergy that drives innovation across various industries. Again, tying on to what Lisa said, it's not going to replace us. It can't replace us. But if you don't use AI, then it means you're not going to be as fast, as effective, as creative as people who do use AI. So it's important that we learn how to collaborate with this machine, because it's not going anywhere fast. Then how we can empower marginalized communities. So technology can empower marginalized communities, not just women, but all kinds of other communities. And it's important to understand that we can use these tools to actually empower us and how we can use them. And then finally, it's revolutionizing industries, again tying on to what Lisa said, or I think it was Prof that said, it's going to create a lot more jobs going forward than it's going to make redundant. But again, for the people who are using the tools to be more creative. And I'm going to show you one of those AI tools today. I'm very excited about it. Grace was laughing at me yesterday because I was a little girl going, this works. So I'm going to with you today as well to show you how it works, and hopefully that'll also help you understand the weaknesses and strengths that both people and machines have going forward, that we need to be cognizant of. So what was interesting for me about learning the no-code AI is how similar our brains are to the machines, or how similar the machines are to our brains. And what was the most interesting thing, and probably also one of the scary things, and when I told my husband, he's like, I told you, Elon Musk was right, I told you, is that this machine that is called AI, actually a lot of the development happened without human intervention. We sort of planted the seed, wrote the initial code, but similar to the way that we don't exactly understand how our brain processes things. Yes, we understand the mechanics. We know there are neurons, there's input, sensory input, and then there's neurons firing, and all of the mechanics behind it we understand, but we don't understand the soft side of processing, of how this machine works. And the same, we actually don't understand how neural networks in AI works. It's like, it's a black box phenomenon, and that was fascinating for me. I'm like, this is something we have so much in common, but at the same time, and I've also mentioned this before to people, and I'm speaking of my generation here now. I don't know who remembers the Terminator. I'll be back. Okay, so if we don't want him to be back, then we really need to work with this machine, because it is very probable that it will become sentient someday. Now, we see a lot of doomsday movies about this topic, where the AI just says, oh, human beings are so bad, I'm just going to kill all of you, and then the whole chaos ensues. But again, it comes back to the point where it learns from us. The inputs it receives, like we as human beings receive inputs from the outside world, feedback, comments, environment, being loved or not loved, being ridiculed or not ridiculed, the type of language we use, and that's so important, the type of language we use. We are training this child. We are making it a grown-up. And if we don't want to be in a Terminator, because I don't think Arnold Schwarzenegger is going to be around to save us, we need to be cognizant of that. We need to understand how our inputs are influencing this machine and make it a grown-up to be proud of. So let's look at some of the strengths and weaknesses. I was talking to my majestic Dane, I think it was yesterday or the day before, And I sent her a message, and she's like the next day, oh, I'm so sorry I responded, but it's just constant distraction. And I call it the age of mass distraction because it is just the amount of information that is coming through to us. The ding, 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 and then you start reading an email, and this one talks to you, and then the phone rings. It's crazy. And what it is it is noise. And we as human beings cannot process so much noise. Multitasking is a lie. Anyone here can try to tell me that it's a lie. And it's sort of the same with machines. AI is a little bit next level, we'll go into that, but if you've got lots of tabs open on your internet browser and you've got 50 applications running, what happens to the laptop or the computer? Okay, but worse than that, human beings, we only have one pipe of sensory information that can come into us at any time. Similar to your laptop that struggles, if there are multiple things coming to you, you have to slow down some of the processes or shut them down for you to be able to properly process what is incoming. And that is what's important, that we use the technology to declutter and to focus. So if you use this technology right, and again, I'm talking about, guys, notifications, I put there the 7 to 7 rule. Put the phone off. I know there are emergencies. If there really are emergencies, you're in such a position where you've got little kids or whatever the case is, you do still have options allowing specific calls, specific messages coming through. But you need to do that because the noise that technology is bringing to us, and I always joke, I told Grace yesterday, it's breaking my brain. I start to sort of like that machine, I don't know where to focus now. So it's so important that when we're using these tools, we enable ourselves to focus because that is something that human beings are really good at. Then the other one is minding your business, and of course, minding your business, I mean, not everything, you don't need to have notifications on every group, on every platform, prioritize and decide what is important for you, what do you need to focus on to achieve your goals, and prioritize those. The rest of them, put them on silent, and you check them now and then. I was having a conversation, not so good one, with a teacher the other day because I told her, they WhatsApp me, the kid is sick. I don't check WhatsApp all the time. I don't. The notifications are, I will go once or twice, maybe 3 times, okay, maybe to be honest a little bit more, to WhatsApp and periodically check my WhatsApp. The same I do with my social media. It's not on all the time because all of that information will, so you know what, if it's important, phone me. Phone me, that's the thing that is on. The same with email, and we might some be guilty, but I want to tell you something about communication channels. Email is not a priority. The best practices, and maybe Lisa can confirm or not, when it comes to managing our people and managing communications, is that email is there to be read. And sending an email with the expectation, yes, thank you for responding by 5 o'clock tonight. That's not realistic. That is not the channel for an urgent communication or a deadline. Pick up the phone, do the human thing to do, and phone that person. Or walk to them. It's my boss's favorite thing. So yes, that's something that technology can't do. So let's have a look at understanding bias in humans and AI. And this I also found fascinating. And I think we all know these things. Bias in humans originate from cultural, social, and personal influences. We all grew up in a certain house, in a certain environment. There's stereotypes, misinformation, limited experience. And the same as the human brain, AI can inherit bias from the data it's trained on. So I want to make it crystal clear here. AI is not good or bad. A car, can we agree that a car is neither good nor bad? It's a tool that we use to achieve something. The intentions of the person using it, or what we feed it with, is the result that we will get at the end of the day. So the inputs is what is important. And coming back to, if we don't want to go to that Terminator situation, what we are inputting into this tool is what's framing its responses. And then addressing bias requires continuous monitoring, inclusive data practices. Guys, we don't give up on a human being because they are biased. Maybe they're behaving badly, but we want to try and help them because that is all the only framework that they have. And being able to focus, if technology helps us, being able to focus on that human, that human component, we're able to help each other. Because that's something the machine can't do. So it frees up time for us to help each other and to recognize things like bias and labels and all of those things. So, here comes my moment. I want to give you a demonstration of bias in AI. I think everybody knows how bias works, but I want to give you a demonstration of how you can bias a machine model. So bear with me while I share my screen. Right. So I want to introduce you something that the folks at MIT introduced me to, which is awesome, and there's so many different applications for this. I'm hoping you'll find something. About 3 months ago, my shrink, yes, I sometimes go to a shrink, I work at SALT. My shrink recommended that I do a sport which is very aggressive and competitive, just so that I can get rid of, some of the stress which inevitably, happens to us. I just want to quickly share the screen as well because I'm sharing the wrong one with the online audience. Okay, so this is a tool that was introduced to me, like I said, by MIT. You will find, hopefully, multiple ways you can use this tool. It's a free tool by our friends, developed by Google. So yes, Google is fantastic. We can have a whole session about why we should be careful what we do with Google. So I'm not going to input my personal stuff in here. But what this tool allows us to do is you can now take images, or you can take audio, or what I'm using it with the point about the mutai was, I'm really struggling. My husband says I'm a girly girl. I wasn't built for fighting. So I'm really struggling making the moves, all right? So when I learned about this thing, it opened up an idea with me and said, you know what? Since I also have got kids, so I can't go to the mutai more than once a week, and which is not really enough. Let's say it's 100 days until you become proficient. So I still suck. People that started with me are way ahead of me because they can go more. So I thought, you know what? I can use this tool to actually help me with my poses, with my strikes and my jabs and my uppercuts and whatnot. So what this thing allows you, and I want you to just for a moment, that's the pose one over here. You can import images of people doing those. It can be yoga, it can be netball, it can be soccer, karate, you name it. Wherever there is a specific position that you need to take in, you can use this tool. It's got a webcam. You will upload the images for it. You tell it what are the right poses, and then this camera will tell you if you are doing it the right way. Alright, I've only got 5 minutes left. Alright, so let me just demonstrate this to you. So, what I did is, firstly, I imported lots of images of dogs and cats. Okay? So I imported lots of images of dogs and cats, and then what I did, just see if you can see the webcam. Bear with me. Okay, by the way, can anyone see what this is? Pink cat. It's a pink cat. Yeah, it's a pink cat. Okay, alright. So, I gave it pictures of dogs and cats, and then I am asking it now here, I'm putting a picture, and is it recognizing it correctly?
Yes.
Is it a cat?
Yes,
It's a cat. Okay. So then what I did is I went and I uploaded only pictures of pink dogs and normal cats. So now observe, and this is bias. Oops. What is it saying now?
Dog.
It's a dog. So I wanted to show you that because it is an example of that thing only knows what I fed into it. It doesn't know anything else. Very similar to humans that have been exposed only to certain things, certain scenarios, certain ways of being treated. So it's not to say the machine is not perfect, and neither are we. But by being cognizant of this, that makes a difference in how we work with this tool and being aware of it. So yeah, thinks I'm a dog. Thinks I'm a dog, but it's leaning more towards dog, husband, cat. Okay. But anyway, the other thing I quickly wanted to show you was, before my time is completely up, was another way that the machine is biased. And I don't know if everybody knows, but Microsoft signed an agreement about 3 years ago with ChatGPT, actually with OpenAI, where they pulled the ChatGPT technology into the Microsoft world. So if you do this in ChatGPT, it works in ChatGPT. This is ChatGPT. So I could demonstrate this in ChatGPT or here, but the difference is in ChatGPT it doesn't incorporate the visual component. So in Copilot we have DALL-E incorporated there. So I'm going to ask it a question, and I want you to be observant. Create an image of a clock. Okay, so where does ChatGPT get its information from? The internet, basically, unless you've got the paid for license, which then involves your work documents and stuff as well. But it basically gets its information from the internet, the same as Gemini does. So Gemini, ChatGPT, they get the information from the internet. What is on the internet? What we put on the internet, we as human beings. So unfortunately, now Copilot has got some mechanisms built in to try to avoid the unethical use of Copilot, but it's still exposed to everything on the internet. So I want you to ask you, what time is on that clock? All of those clocks. 10 past 10. So let me, because why? 10 past 10 is the clock image that's mostly available on the internet. So now I'm going to give it a direct instruction, create an image of a clock of 3 p.m. So I can tell a biased human being and I can tell a biased machine, I can give them a direct instruction. If that is not the information that it has access to, if that is not the data set it has access to, it can't give me what I want. It's unable to do that. And again, 10 past 10. So, that was just what I wanted to show you in terms of bias. Let me just quickly share the screen again over here. Sharing is caring is not always what it should be, but I hope that showed you how bias works. Time is up, I got to run. So very quickly, what does bias do and things, labels like that? It gives us groupthink. So we all think alike. This is what we do when we don't allow diverse voices and we don't use inclusive tools to bring everybody into the conversation. We end up doing groupthink. And what does this mean for us? It means let your voice be heard. Marginalized communities, just like our local languages, are not present in abundance on the internet, and therefore if you ask ChatGPT to translate for you in Herero, well, you try that and you see what happens. So it needs more data. We as marginalized communities, just like we work harder to be heard, we need to scream louder. We need to be heard. And for that you need to, I know it's extra effort and it's not fair, but life is not fair. So let your voice be heard. So I will share, I think I'll share the presentation with everybody afterwards because my time is now officially up, but I'll share the presentation with everyone. I did ask PowerPoint and it did tell me that my presentation is too long. I'm not going to make it, but I thought that I would wing it, but clearly that didn't work out for me. So thank you very much everybody for listening to my talk today. I hope it will guide you in your use of the machine.
Right, before I hand over to our Director of Ceremonies, I just want to share something for thinking. In 2016, Microsoft, within 72 hours, had to shut down the first known AI bot called Tai. Because when they published it out to the internet, people taught it about biases, sexism, racism, and all things negative. AI is what we teach it. They had to shut it down in 72 hours. Now, for those of you that know me, here's another tidbit. AI is not a new technology. Born in 1912, died in 1954, Alan Turing, the father of the Enigma decoder that helped the Allies break through the code used to transmit secret messages. That was in the war. He built a machine that could, way faster than the human mind, decode the Enigma machine messages. In 1951, he wrote a book on how to teach computers to do mundane human tasks, mental tasks, called the imitation game. That is in 1951. So if you think AI is new and AI is going to take over your job, just think of this. In 2010, 60% of the jobs that existed in 1940 and in 1950 no longer existed, but new jobs did. That's it.
Thank you. So I don't know now, are we calling AI the future or has it been in existence? I think food for thought.